Video games typically go through many changes throughout development before creating the final product, and Resident Evil 4 is no exception to this. A lot of these changes RE4 went through can be found in the many beta trailers the game offers. Even as a huge RE4 fan myself, there were many details in these trailers that blew my mind. In this video, we will be taking a look back at all of these beta trailers and go through all of the differences that were shown in them. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So the first small change you can notice in the very beginning of this trailer is a slight difference in the health icon on the bottom right. It looks like originally there was no dividers in the bars showing how much health you have. I'm gonna assume that the dividers were later added just to better show the player their progression while using their yellow herbs. Now from there, as we get a little further into the trailer, we can hear Leon speak, but for some reason it sounds nothing like the Leon we are all used to.
Hey! No! What are you doing?
Now I know I talked about this in one of my previous videos, but what's interesting is that not only Leon's voice is different, but the Ganados also make many different grunt and shout voices as well. From there, it shows a little montage of Leon attacking the Ganados in the village, and if you listen closely, you will find that some of the weapons that were used seem to have some sort of different shooting sound effect. Okay guys, now this next difference is one of those that completely blew my mind. So apparently the Ganados were originally able to lunge at Leon and grab a hold of him, which is actually sort of similar to the Regenerator's lunge attack. I feel like this really would have been a little bit too OP and really annoying to deal with if added, especially since it seems like this attack is basically unavoidable, because when we look back at the footage, the Ganado jumped onto Leon in a split second, leaving the player no time to actually react and shoot back. If this was the case, then I feel like it would almost force the player to keep a safe distance away from enemies to avoid this attack, which really wouldn't work well for this game because of the emphasis on close quarters combat with the overpowered knife and the roundhouse kicks. Now I do feel like they could have somehow made this lunge attack fitting for the game, but I think they made the right move by ultimately removing it. The last thing I found in this first GameCube trailer was in regards to the Ashley photo that Leon shows to the Ganado in the beginning. As you can see, there are very noticeable differences between the beta photo and the final photo. Moving on to the next trailer, there once again seems to be different weapon sounds. This time you can hear it with the broken butterfly being used. Then we go into a quick gameplay featuring Leon escorting Ashley, and as you can see, Ashley's health icon, just like Leon's, is slightly different from the final version. From there we get our first look at the original Luis Serra, and as you can see, he actually used to have a mustache. Little things like this really makes you wonder why it was removed from the final product. From there, the next key difference shows that Dr. Salvador was actually supposed to show up at the front of the church during the night to attack Leon. Then it shows Leon firing the rocket launcher, but what's interesting to note is the difference in the ammo icon. As you can see, instead of showing a small rocket launcher icon, it shows the regular ammo screen that is used for all guns. So maybe in the original game you were planned to hold multiple rockets for your RPG, and maybe certain enemies would drop rockets for Leon. If this was the case, then it is very likely that the original rocket launcher was a lot less powerful compared to the final release. Next, we have what sounds like a different voice bit for Ashley when she says help. And the last thing I found in this trailer was a scrap dialogue line when Ashley gets captured.
Ashley!
Oh my god! What's going on?
Ashley!
What's going on?
So that's pretty much it for all the trailer differences, but there is also released beta footage for the GameCube that has many shocking differences from the final product. So with that being said, let's take a look. Starting the game off when Leon shoots the crows, you will notice that when you go to pick up the money that was dropped, there's actually no animation, but instead just a description on the bottom of the screen for how much money each crow dropped. Then Leon goes into the house to show the Ganado the Ashley photo, which as you can see has another different model from the beta trailer. From there, Leon takes out the Ganado, jumps out of the window, runs past the first few zombies and heads into the first little building, and then proceeds to open the inventory screen, which as you can see is much different compared to the final product. Instead of weapons being different sizes and taking up multiple small squares, this version holds every item in one square. You can also see that the knife is in Leon's inventory. That's because in the original game, Leon actually had to equip the knife to use it. Leon then proceeds to break the boxes with the knife and collect the items and treasure available, which does have a different collect screen from the final version. After progressing through the village a bit, the player can break a box to find a scrapped beta treasure called the Onyx Stone. Now what's interesting about the treasures from the beta is that there's actually no separate key item tab in the inventory screen, but instead these treasures are actually mixed in with your ammunition, health, and weapons. From there, Leon enters the main village area, which plays out pretty much the same as the final product, though there are some noticeable changes in weapon sounds and enemy dialogue. And there you have it. That's pretty much all the differences from the betas of RE4. Thank you for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, then maybe consider clicking this video here where I cover the complete history of Resident Evil 4.